If you woke up tomorrow to find your salary and savings account had doubled, you might feel incredibly rich. But if the physical reality of your life, your house, your groceries, your car, remained exactly the same, no actual wealth was created, only the numbers grew. This distinction centers a satirical book by Erwin Schiff about the medieval Kingdom of Moltz. Here, citizens pay property tax based on the height of their homes. The first 10 feet are exempt, but every foot's gold. Taxes reliably change human behavior. To avoid paying the crown, the citizens of Moltz build extremely low ceilings and crouched doorways, compressing their daily lives into tiny, uncomfortable spaces. This bizarre architecture eventually collides with a royal financial crisis. King Igor discovers that his endless banquets and lavish court spending have practically depleted the royal bank account. Igor refuses to cut his own spending. His ministers, however, warn that the citizens already feel cramped, and raising the tax rate explicitly will likely spark a massive rebellion in the streets. The crown desperately needs more gold, but it cannot afford the political cost of a visible tax bill. The king needs a way to extract the money without anyone noticing. The Minister of Royal Rulers proposes a deceptive solution. He suggests leaving the official tax rates exactly as they are, but replacing every measuring stick in the kingdom with one that is physically shorter. By changing the unit of measurement, physical reality is distorted on paper. A house built to 15 feet under the old standard is suddenly measured at 18 feet under the shorter standard, though no new bricks were added. This mathematical trick yields a massive fiscal return. The 10-foot tax exemption shrinks relative to the physical building, instantly pushing more of the existing house into the higher taxable red zones. To prevent anyone from exposing the math, the government outlaws the old rulers. They even spin the change as good news, telling citizens that their homes are suddenly larger and that they themselves have physically grown taller. The government successfully extracts more revenue from its citizens, all while insisting with perfect bureaucratic calm that tax rates never went up. The Kingdom of Moltz is a fable, but the shortened ruler maps dramatically to modern global economics. Our ruler is paper currency. Dollars and euros are not real wealth. Real wealth consists of food, housing, and energy, and the capacity to produce goods. Money is simply a coordination technology, a unit of account we use to measure and trade those physical resources. When the supply of that paper currency expands without a matching increase in physical goods, you get what economists call money illusion. If a paycheck grows from $50,000 to $55,000, but costs rise identically, purchasing power hasn't changed. This drives bracket creep. As nominal incomes rise, earners are pushed into higher tax zones, even though real buying power remains flat. This environment creates distinct winners and losers. Borrowers who hold fixed-rate debt get to pay back their loans with money that is worth less than when they borrowed it. Meanwhile, workers with slowly adjusting wages and savers holding cash see their purchasing power erode. Expanding the money supply doesn't create prosperity. It simply redistributes the purchasing power that already exists, often funneling it back toward the state through hidden taxation. The shortened ruler is an elegant way to understand monetary debasement. However, blaming every price increase on a single king's decree ignores the deep complexity of a modern, highly interconnected economy. Prices also rise because of supply shocks. If a drought destroys crops or an embargo creates an energy shortage, the physical scarcity makes those resources more expensive to deliver. That has nothing to do with the money supply. It is a raw lack of physical goods. The opposite dynamic, a demand shock, produces similar results. When government transfers or sudden optimism cause a collective surge in buying power, consumers attempt to purchase more than factories can actually produce, forcing sellers to raise prices. We also have to account for velocity, the frequency at which a single dollar changes hands. If consumers panic and rush to spend before prices rise further, that accelerated velocity puts even more upward pressure on the cost of living. A complete economic model recognizes that while inflating the currency is dangerous, global resource shortages and sudden shifts in consumer behavior are equally powerful forces in moving the needle. Even with those complexities, the core warning of Moltz remains vital. When governments consistently finance massive deficits by creating new money, they deploy a stealth tax that slowly eats away at wages and corrodes public trust. To cut through the illusion, you can apply a simple 3-question test whenever economic numbers go up. Did real goods and services increase? Did the unit's purchasing power change? Who profits from the adjustment? Changing the markings on a measuring stick will never legislate another floor into existence. Printing a new batch of currency will never put another loaf of bread on the table. True prosperity is never found in the length of the ruler. It is found entirely in what a society can actually build.